Hello, I'm Christopher McLeod. This is my Week 4 Pecha-Kucha assignment for the October 2015 Design Tools class. I will be going over the age-old debate of Marvel Comics versus DC Universe and who actually is the better comic book company. Be comparing facts between the two, and we'll see who comes out on top. Start with their TV and movie series, with their popular TV shows, which they both have a great deal of success, as well as their film success on each company, which they both definitely have some great films released. This will be interesting how this one ought to turn up. Marvel and their TV shows. I don't have a great history with them, but they did have a lot of success with their Incredible Hulk series. They're seeing a good deal with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but right now a lot of the successful series are on Netflix. Now, DC and their TV shows. We all know about Arrow, Flash. Amazing series. They're breaking ratings records all over the world. And we have Gotham. Gotham is a great series as well. And they have plenty more to come, like Supergirl and Wonder Woman, which ought to be coming out really soon. Now, Marvel and the big screen. Marvel's movies have seen a lot of success, with Iron Man making $585 million in 2008, Guardians of the Galaxy with an all-time August debut of $94 million, and then Avengers making $1.5 billion worldwide, and Age of Ultron making $1.36 billion so far. Now, they have a lot of movies coming up, like Captain America, Civil War, Secret Society, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, etc., etc. There's a lot to look forward to with Marvel and their up-and-coming movies. Ought to be great. Now, DC and their movies. They haven't seen a lot of success, like with Jonah Hex only making $10.9 million, and Catwoman, which was decent with 82.1, but it was nothing compared to Marvel and their success. Then Dark Knight series is done very great with $2.5 billion from 2005 to 2012. Now we're going to compare their heroes and their villains, going over some stats on their heroes as well as their villains, comparing, see how they fare against each other with both. We'll get them compared and see who actually has the better company based off of this. Start with DC heroes. They typically have a lot darker storyline. Like, for example, like the Dark Knight movies, probably the darkest comic book movie adaptation ever released. And we have Dawn of Justice, that we all know that's going to be a dark one, and then Suicide Squad. And now, they're almost always otherworldly and human. All their heroes come from somewhere else, or just not really human. Typically godlike and overpowered, but like Superman and Wonder Woman, but somehow they always get killed off. It's strange. Usually born with their powers. Now, of course, gotta bring Aquaman up. He is probably the most overlooked and underrated superhero to date. He rides around on a seahorse. Quite powerful, but it's hard to respect him because of, seahorse. Marvel heroes usually have a lighter role. They're usually seen as a big ray of hope. When everything hits the bricks, they're coming in to save the day, rather than like Batman, who is completely hated throughout the people in his series. They're usually joking around a lot in a really terrible situation. They're usually very human and vulnerable, which makes them a lot more relatable. We can enjoy them and kind of almost feel like the character a little bit. And usually gain their powers through a freak accident, or they're created that way, which kind of makes us feel like have some hope here that might actually happen. And we'll go over their villains. They get a lot, for DC villains get a lot more respect than their heroes. We all love their villains. A lot more memorable. And their goals tend to directly affect the hero, or they are targeted around the hero in some manner. But there's not as many recognizable villains as compared to Marvel, and they're always swapped between the comics. Especially with Batman's villains, you see them everywhere. But we all love the villains a lot more. Now, we get to Marvel. Sometimes they're swapped around between comics, but most of the time they keep throwing. Like Spider-Man's villains usually are fighting Spider-Man, and X-Men's villains are usually fighting X-Men. Whereas DC, you see the villains crossing over all the time. You see Doomsday fight everybody. There's a large amount of Marvel villains, and they're almost all easily recognizable between their fans, but they're not as memorable because there's so many of them. You can't specifically think of Marvel and go, I think of this villain. You're thinking more of the heroes. There's so many villains. Now, go up and analyze this, see who's got the better one. Through film and TV success, Marvel has the film, easy. But DC also easily has the TV series, which both those are pretty obvious. We're going to go over the heroes and villains. Marvel's heroes, I got to give it to them. Their heroes, they're a lot more memorable. We can relate to them a lot more enjoyable. Whereas villains, there's DC. There's not as many really popular villains. We can relate to their villains a lot more popular. Everybody likes their villains, like the Joker. Now the results, got to bring it to a tie. Sum it all up, basically it boils down to personal preference. They're both pretty even. They both have some success. One's film, one's on TV. Their heroes and villains weigh themselves out at the same time.